Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, academic coach with Empower ADHD.
Hi, and I'm Sophie, and I'm also an academic coach with Empower ADHD.
Okay. So, Sophie, did you know that by the age of 12, a child with ADHD may have received around 20,000 more negative messages than their peers? Being told off, corrected, reminded of what they've done wrong. Imagine carrying that weight into school every day.
And I know, Sarah, actually, that is not because they don't care or they don't try to align with the society's expectation. Um, but actually, ADHD affects 1 in 20 children
Mm.
from like up to age 17 worldwide, and actually the UK is bang on average. And they are bright and capable students, but the issue is that the environment in which they are learning or trying to learn is built for a neurotypical brain, and these students' brain is not that, is it? It's neurodiverse.
Exactly, exactly. So today, all we want to do is bring that reality into life. We'll freeze frame some everyday classroom scenarios where ADHD behaviors show up. We'll put, I know you're looking excited about that, Sophie. We'll
We'll see how
pause,
it goes.
ask what's really happening beneath the surface, and then share strategies to turn challenge into opportunity.
Yeah. So great. Let's give it a start. And we're going to do with scenario one.
Perfect, let's go. Sophie, that's the second time I've had to speak to you this morning. Okay, go and sit over there on your own. And if I have to speak to you again, it'll be detention at lunchtime. Sophie, you were off task. You were distracting both yourself and the people around you. Come on, tell me what was going on there.
Well, Miss, to be honest, I was bored.
Okay.
Um, the topic was not interesting to me. The way that you were presenting was not really engaging for my ADHD brain, and it made it hard for me to concentrate. So, for me to create that boost of dopamine and help me pay attention, I had to put in place like a different, I felt like I needed a different type of stimulation. And for me, that was speaking with, my best mate. And I know that it feels disrespectful, but it was my own way to cope with this.
Okay, I get it. I get it. So, all right. Well, I thought I've reflected on it and I've come up with some strategies. Let me know what you think. So,
Mm.
I could have broken the lesson down into smaller chunks
Hmm.
that sort of were then interspersed with some active learning. Like we could have done some games or yeah, so stood up, moved around the classroom a little bit. I could have probably given you some non-verbal cues just to sort of, to suggest that you realize that you're talking, or something I do and I forgot to do was come and stand by your desk so that you felt someone was close and you weren't on your own, but without getting too close.
Yeah.
Could have got you to chat with your partners so that you were engaged. You use that bit of partner talk. What else could I have done? Oh, I could have given you a movement break because I know you need to move, and that was my fault there. I should have made sure that you were, had the chance to move around the classroom. Um, oh, and next time I'm going to sit you next to Katie because she's a really good role model for you.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Katie.
Okay. And also, I'm going to make sure that I notice when you're doing the right thing because that will make you feel, that will give you a bit of validation and you'll recognize that.
Yeah.
Will that work?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you very much, Miss.
Okay. We'll try that next time.
All right.
See you later. Hi, guys. We've been studying emancipation and I just want to do a few questions this morning just to see what you can remember from last lesson. Okay. So, what year was it that women over 21 were first allowed to vote?
1928.
Oh, Sophie, what have I told you about shouting out? We put our hands up when we want to ask a question, remember? Sophie, we've talked about this, haven't we? And your impulsive behavior. And what's going on there today?
Well, Miss, well, impulsivity is what one of my personal traits of ADHD, and it's actually one of the most common ones as well. And whenever I speak to my other friends who have got ADHD, they say that even for them, trying to stop our impulses is almost physically impossible to do. So I really struggle with that. And you know what, actually, I think I created, without really knowing, this game with myself where I need to be the first one to answer the questions because, you know, I know I've seen a pattern almost where if you are the first one to answer the question and the answer is correct, then you're seen as someone that's smart. And I am, well, I'm not sure about that, but I want to be seen I am smart. So I must be the first one to answer the question. So that was one thing. And then, you know, it's hard for me to hold memories or not like thoughts actually in the short term. We have got as ADHDers issues with the short term memory. And so if I didn't say it immediately, by the time you had come to me, or if you had decided to pick me, I would have already forgotten about it. So again, that's why it just came out. And I was trying to focus so much on because I love, this is a topic that I'm really interested in.
Hmm.
Loads of my energy was already concentrated in what it was going to come during the lesson. And so my self-control was difficult. It's the first thing that goes when I'm already controlling something else and, you know, making sure that I think I can only do control one thing at the time. So sorry about that.
No, and well done, Sophie. You've articulated that really well, and that helps. But I've got Andrew's mum saying, "Oh, he's never allowed to get the answer out." So we've got to do something about it, haven't we? Yeah, because it can't keep happening. I've noticed some of the other kids get a little bit frustrated about it.
Mm,
Okay,
sure.
made some notes. I jotted some ideas down. So have a think about what we could do. All right.
Hmm.
What about if we get everybody to write their answers on the whiteboards and show them all at the same time? Yeah, that way you've got your ideas out, haven't you?
Hmm.
But you put them down on the whiteboard and then everybody shows at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one, have you heard? We played the game popcorn. We don't do it very often, but do you know that game when you all had to shout out all together?
Oh yeah,
Everybody loves that game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So remind me, perhaps you could remind me, say, Miss, can we do popcorn today? Because then that's helping you as well, isn't it?
yeah.
Right. And that will remind me if I forget. What else did I write down? If I let you have one question, a lesson that you answered first. Okay. So you could be the first answer, the first responder. Yeah. So we make sure there's one more. What else did I put? Yeah, I might sometimes just have to use, or we can decide, but my hand or something just to say, Sophie. Yeah, so you pause, you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not what you're not doing that, are you? You're not pausing, you're going blurting it out as soon as you,
Yeah, true.
because you know the answer. I get it. Okay. Again, I could do, and we used to do that, and I've forgotten all about doing that again, is where you could tell your partner. So you each tell your partners before we share as a whole class, because that way, again, you can get it out, can't you?
Like a trivia thing in
Yeah,
group.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I totally understand that you've got to get the answer out. All right. It's just desperate, isn't it? And then again, using games like Kahoot. Can you remember when we played Kahoot? You all love Kahoot because you can all shout out the answers and you're all in control of that. Yeah. And then also recognizing when you are doing it properly, because that's again really important, recognizing when you're making the right choices, yeah, and you're able to control it.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Miss. And I've I've written a few of those down, and I'll definitely do remind you a few of them, like the popcorn one or Coot. I really enjoyed them, so thank you very much.
Good. Okay. And we'll see how you get on next lesson. All right.
Mhm. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey,
All right. Now for scenario three, Sophie, let's go.
Miss Knight,
What is it, Sophie?
no, please go to the toilet.
Sophie, you've just been, and this is becoming rather a habit. I'm noticing that every lesson you're having to go to the toilet at least 2 or 3 times. No, you'll have to wait till break. I'm sorry.
Oh, I really need to go.
Sophie, can you get on with your writing, please? Thank you.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Sophie. Yeah, we're here again. Okay, and I'm really, really trying to help you. All right, so this is why we're having these conversations.
Mhm.
So I have noticed that you're going to the toilet a lot in the lessons, asking to go to the toilet. Okay. And what I've noticed, it tends to be when you're starting the independent work. Yeah. Can you give me some ideas what's going on there?
Let me think what was going on. Well, I had started to feel very overwhelmed because I couldn't fully understand the assignment. And it helps me to speak aloud to understand things. But because you asked us to be in silence, I couldn't do that. So I was really struggling to even understand where to start. And with ADHD in general, it is difficult to start a new task because I read the assignment, I see so many possibilities from that one question, but obviously it's one question, it's not all the ones that are coming in my head. So I need to pick between all of them, one that I think is what you were asking me. Um, and so it's frustrating. My RSD, so my rejection sensitivity dysphoria kicked in because I saw everyone else writing. I didn't even know where to start, and I felt I was failing, and I kept being more and more overwhelmed and frustrated. So I think because I didn't really know where to start or how to, deal with the situation, I thought, well, rather than starting crying and ripping, the paper in pieces, I thought it's probably best if I go to the toilet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we need to sort this one out, don't we?
Mm.
Yeah, because otherwise you're missing out a lot on your work and you're just not achieving. And I know how well you can do. All right. But we need to get some strategies in place for this one, don't we?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right. So again, could break it down into smaller tasks. So what about we do like 5 minutes and then we all have a check-in together? Because I know you don't like to stand out in the class. All right. I know you like to sort of fit in with everybody. Get that completely. All right. But it won't hurt everybody if we do 5 minutes, check in, 5 minutes. How would that work? Does that
Yeah,
sound a bit
yeah,
better?
yeah,
Well, sometimes a task has to be done in a specific way.
yeah.
Yes, because we've got exams coming up and,
Mhm.
they have to be answered. I know, Sophie, don't worry about it at the moment. And I know they will, but there are times when you could answer them in your own way just to get yourself going. And you've got that extra time in exams. So again, extra time in the lessons to process and think about what you want to write. And we've been doing that work on mind mapping, haven't we? And where
Yeah,
you can get all your ideas down, yeah? So you can
yeah. And I realized I haven't done that because I've forgotten about the fact that I can do mind mapping. Thank
yeah.
you for reminding me that.
Yeah, but we also need to remember how you can remember, or and whether I need to prompt you just to remind again everybody that they can do, they can do start off planning in the way they might want to. Okay.
Mhm.
And Sophie, how did you get on the other day when you went out and used the voice recorder? Can you remember?
Yeah, well, I didn't really like it because I think people have noticed it and I didn't really like it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I get that. Okay, we can try other things and when we can, we'll do partners because that enables everyone to share their ideas and process. So that would help you. Okay. Um one thing we can do is make sure I'm scaffolding at the beginning, yeah? So that I'm giving you sentence starters or, even doing the opening paragraph. You that often works really well and I've noticed that you chip in with that when you can
Yeah.
see it and we're all working on it together. So we'll definitely use that one again.
Hmm.
Movement breaks again, I must remember. And what would help with the movement breaks, because we've talked about this with the other scenarios, would you like a card on your desk? What would you like to be able to do with your movement breaks? How are we going to get
Um,
them going?
I'd like something that is not quite as noticeable to, the others in the room. So yeah, maybe we could try this time, like next time with a card. And if I feel like some people still notice it, maybe I could do like, I don't know, a gesture of like scratching my back or something.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to keep looking at you, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I want
fine.
all the attention.
Yeah. And when it's handing things out, I'll make sure to try and give you the chance to do that. There are
Mm.
students that I know would like to be able to do that, but I'll try and get so that that's giving you a chance to move around as well.
Or we
Okay.
can help both of us, like whoever is around and wants to do that. We could do a people one, like someone doing one side of the class and the other, so that
Yeah.
because I don't want to take away from others either.
Okay. No, 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 that's a good idea. And then it's all just a matter of checking in with everybody, so making sure I'm doing that. Okay. How does that sound?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Miss, again. Thank you
Okay.
very
Yeah,
much.
because we need to get going with your writing. That's really important. All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Good.
So, Sarah, what are the key takeaways?
Well, Sophie, what these scenarios show us is that ADHD behaviors are not misbehaviors. Okay. What we really know is that behavior is a means of communication. And in these scenarios, the environment in that is just not set up for the student. It's just not working.
Yeah. Yeah, because ADHDers is not like that they want to be disruptive or that they are being lazy. It's that they just have difficulties from so many different perspectives, impulse control, emotional regulation, differences, in attention because of the level of dopamine that actually chemically gets released within their brain that is completely different to the neurotypical students. And so yeah, when a kid isn't, let's say, fitting this system, it's not deliberate to be disruptive. It's just their brain saying this environment for me is it's not working. It's not how I work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, as educators, as parents, as friends, actually, and professionals, our job is definitely to recognize what's beneath the behavior. We've got to look at the bigger picture, and then we've got to adapt what we do, and we've got to help the child create a subconscious library, basically, of
Mm.
tools to help them, that toolkit. And the
Yeah.
best way to do that is to work with them,
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
out what works for them, and work together.
Yeah, 100%. And we need, if we are to respond with understanding of what they're going through, and so like breaking down tasks, a bit what we've shown today, isn't it? Breaking down tasks, adding movement, building up a positive relationship with their peers rather than make it competitive. and helping them to self-regulate and teach themselves strategies, we won't just support the ADHD student or the neurotypical student. It's everyone in the
Mhm.
classroom, and all the different types of learners therefore can thrive, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly.
And as we said at the start, ADHD students hear so many more negative comments and, thoughts than positive. And so that is also going to get in their brain, that the way that they are is more negative than positive. But if every teacher can adapt the way in which they teach,
Mhm.
maybe we can flip around that script and maybe they start to think about them more positively and see more, therefore, a difference in which they can thrive.
Yeah, no, definitely. And schools shouldn't just be built for one kind of brain.
Yeah.
But with some awareness and small shifts. We're not talking about massive shifts here, just some small shifts, like we've
Mhm.
discussed in the scenarios. We can make it work for every kind of brain.
Yeah, which would be amazing, wouldn't it?
It would. It would be really good. Yeah.
So if any of these scenarios that we've spoken about, I'm now speaking to whoever is going to see the video. If any of these scenarios remind you of your students or your child, when you speak to the teachers, please do get in contact with us. And, we've got a link in the post, and just have a chat with us. We're more than happy to help, and speak with teachers and train them and coach even the students, coach the parents. We're here to support.
Most definitely. And
Yeah.
yeah. And thank you everyone for joining us today and for making space for every kind of mind.